It's been months since that famous cinematic just before Anduin was broken. The jailer took some sort of a crystal from this whatever portal was this and imbued it into the rune blade that Anduin has been using all this time. Since we cleared Sanctum of Domination and still haven't ran into Arthas, could he ultimately be trapped within the blade? After all, it would make sense that the Lich King that trapped so many within a Morn blade is now living inside one. What are the current theories, and would this actually make sense? Brought to you by Gamivo. Use my link to get Shadowlands in game time cheaper as well as any other game. Use code ORON for an additional discount. Currently, two theories are going around, and I'd say both are quite valid. Either the crystal is Varian, which this jailer was using in order to blackmail Anduin, or it is Arthas, the last true Lich King. Before that, we even used to wonder whether the crystal was a soul or not, but I think it is pretty safe to say it 100% is, as you may have seen within the Sylvanas' Fate cinematic. When he wanted to return the half of the soul to her, the jailer pulled out almost the exact same crystal, so it is obvious that Zoal is keeping all these souls in this form within his vault and is essentially using them as bargaining chips. Now, before we get into the Arthas one, let us quickly discuss the Varian theory, which I can't really dismiss, and I gotta say definitely seems just as valid. When you think about it, it would make total sense. Obviously, Varian will be involved within Shadowlands, as we have seen his famous compass from the Legion cinematic on multiple occasions, and it would definitely make sense that the jailer could use Varian to manipulate Anduin, as he would be like his main weak spot. Like, Anduin has crazy willpower and all, but when the jailer threatens him with his father's soul, I doubt he could really do much. However, you may be wondering, why would he put him inside a blade instead of just keep it himself? Wouldn't he be safer that way? My idea is that much like how Frostmourne kept the Lich King in control, Kingsmourne also keeps Anduin in check. So if he escapes, Varian would still be inside the blade and only Zoal would know how to break him free. However, the main counterpoint to this, and I'd say quite a valid one, is that Varian shouldn't even be within the Maw. He died right at the start of Legion when the Machine of Death was more than likely working, so he should be inside some other realm. He shouldn't be automatically sent to the Maw as all these other souls. However, the way I make sense out of this is that in this case, the jailer, since he has grown powerful, he obviously can influence other realms, so his Forsworn Kyrian may have abducted him from the afterlife. Now, people have also been talking about how his soul was just destroyed, as he was essentially just exploded by Gul'dan, but honestly, nothing really confirms this. It is really just speculation at this point. However, let us get to the meat of this actual video and really the main and the most interesting theory. Could this fabled mysterious crystal actually be Arthas, the Fallen Prince, and the most notable Lich King? So, as Blizzard really didn't even confirm anything, the main evidence we have is the visual, but also the narrative aspects. I mean, let's just be real, they literally almost look exactly the same. Like, when I first saw the leaked Anduin concept art, I literally thought it was Arthas' first appearance within the expansion. Other than the looks enough, they have many character similarities, yet they're very different at the same time. I mean, visually, they're really similar. Blonde hair, both were princes, around the same height, around the same looks, around the same age, although Arthas was really more a warrior than a priest. However, personality-wise, they're almost exactly the opposite. Like, the only thing that kind of binds them together is naivety. Arthas was righteous, but also very vindictive, and definitely not someone that would turn the other cheek for the sake of peace. Sort of like an Alliance Garrosh, like the early version of Garrosh, while Anduin is almost exactly like the Warcraft 3 Jaina, all about just tolerance, negotiations, and peace. Now, this disparity between their personality might make it interesting to connect their storylines, as they both have a similar fate. It is just that Anduin makes up for Arthas' flaws. Why this might be evidence for the theory is that it really gives a lot of potential for future storytelling. On the other side, to me it seems like Blizzard is purposely making obvious parallels between their narrative. For example, when Anduin walked into Bastion and talked with the Archon, it honestly seemed like a copy of Arthas walking into Capital City in order to meet up with his father. Both Theranos and the Archon thought that they had returned from an arduous journey, that they were still pure, and they were excited to meet him, yet both did the unexpected. Even the kneeling bit with the Mournblade was almost literally Arthas and Frostmourne before he killed Theranos right in the throne room. Another storyline that could be proof is the Uther and his wound. Now, I am aware that it was confirmed that Uther touched his wound when Anduin passed near him because he felt the presence of the Maw in the jailer, but it doesn't really disprove that it could also be Arthas. After all, it was Arthas that slayed Uther, that split his soul in half and made the actual wound. That is still a problem to him up to this day. So there could be a sort of a soul connection between the two. We know that Uther felt that Anduin was possessed by Zoal, but on top of that he could also have felt the presence of Arthas within the blade, which is why his reaction was so sudden. Now, my reason why I think this theory would be possible is because we essentially know the ending of 9.1, we cleared most of the inner chamber of the jailer, the Sanctum of Domination, and we ran into Ner'zhul, the very first Lich King there, yet there were absolutely zero signs of Arthas. What if he has been present all this time just within Kingsmourn, like he has been hiding in plain sight all along? This name might also be a hint. I mean, sure, Anduin is a king, so it is called that because, well, a king is wielding it, and it is a Mournblade, but it is also possible that it could have double meaning, you know, Lich, King, Frost, Morn, Kingsmourn. Like, if you mixed Lich, King, and Frost, Morn, you would get Kingsmourn. Not really the best bit of evidence, but it is definitely something to think about. Lastly, my main question, as I've seen this theory since the cinematic first appeared, was, I mean, sure, Arthas could be inside the blade, but why? Like, why would he be inside the blade? Why would the jailer imbue Charlemagne with Arthas' soul? Arthas neither has a connection to Varian's blade, nor does he have or ever really had a role in Anduin's life. For this reason, it always made more sense to me that the crystal could be Varian. However, as we have seen in the Sanctum of Domination and ran into Garrosh, we realized that one soul could actually be incredibly powerful. Like, Garrosh was the powerhouse in Revendreth that provided a ton of anima for years, and even his torture in the Maw said that he alone could, like, power the entire machinery. Now, Garrosh himself, while powerful, was never really that crazy strong. On the other hand though, Arthas was just a powerhouse without a doubt. After all, Arthas did manage to defeat us all. We were actually resurrected. He controlled the entire Scourge while Bolvar could barely manage to control the small remnants of it. Arthas was essentially a superpower on Azeroth and possibly one of the most powerful mortals or half-mortals, whatever he would be in the end. So it is entirely possible that the crystal that is Arthas' soul could be insanely potent in anima, and the jailer decided to place it there for logistical reasons. We know that he uses domination magic to control Anduin, and we also know Anduin's will and dedication to the light is crazy strong, meaning that he could break out at any moment. So in order to really put him in control, Zoal could have used the soul of Arthas in order to really bind Anduin to the blade and just keep him in check. This to me definitely makes sense, and it also gives Blizzard quite a bit of leeway to introduce Arthas into the expansion and also for Anduin to escape in the future. Maybe Arthas within the crystal might be able to break free and ultimately shatter the jailer's spell. Thank you for watching. Check out Was the Lich King Actually a Servant of the Jailer by clicking on the screen, and also check out the Doran's Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.